Suns basketball is almost back, and we're here with another season preview. I'm Gerald Bourguet, and on today's Suns season preview, we'll be taking a look at Jalen Bridges, a player the Suns signed to a two-way contract. Bridges is a plus-size wing out of Baylor. He technically went undrafted in this year's draft, but at a certain point, the Suns reached out to him about a potential two-way deal, at which point he and his agent asked teams in the second round not to draft him so that he could come to Phoenix.
I just want to let y'all know that I'm going to be signing a two-way deal with the
Although he's already 23 years old, Bridges has a certain skill set that any team in the NBA, and especially the Suns, could really use. Bridges' 12.4 points per game at Baylor didn't leap off the page, but he's clearly a great spot-up three-point shooter. Bridges made 41.2% of his 5.1 long-range attempts last season, and according to Hoop Math, 57% of his shot attempts came from beyond the arc. Being 6'7" obviously helps, but Bridges has a quick fire release that makes it difficult for defenders to give him space. His hands are always out, knees bent, ready to shoot at a moment's notice, which helps him get his shot off quickly even with a contest. He showed that at Summer League too, shooting 40% on 7 attempts per game.
It's something that I definitely work on. Like, it's when you're getting up shots in the gym by yourself, a coach passing you the ball, you're working on game speed, like game reps, catching it, not dipping it, like you said, getting the ball off quick. But I'd say it's more so natural. It's just something that my dad's kind of preached to me since I was probably in 4th, 5th grade. Just get that thing off, let it fly, hands ready to shoot, give the passer an angle to hit you, and knock it down when it comes to you.
It's worth noting that 75% of his threes were spot up or in transition according to Synergy, but Bridges also made nearly 44% of 32 threes off the dribble. Most of these were a pump fake and side dribble, but relocation threes are a useful skill to have in the NBA, especially with the way that teams will have to close out on him at the three-point line. Because of his size, Bridges can also be used as a screener as he develops, like this play from Summer League where he ghosts the screen and pops back out for a wide open three. Defensively, Bridges is a solid off-ball defender on the backside. He's active, keeps his arms out to use his 6'10" wingspan well, and covers a lot of ground, which is helpful for when a defense is scrambling or rotating. He's not the quickest guy or some lockdown specialist on the ball, but he cuts off angles, moves well laterally, is strong enough to handle wings, navigates screens, and is just engaged on that end. Bridges created very little of his own offense, and he's not some elite wing defender either, but he knows what his team needs from him and how to play his role on both ends of the floor.
I know what I am. I'm very self-aware. I'm not one of the guys that is going to get paid to, take all the shots. I'm more so a guy that's out there to make life easy on the Durants, the Beals, the Bookers. I feel like I'm a connector piece, like you said, 3-and-D. But I feel like that's putting myself into a box. I feel like I do a lot more than just shoot and play defense.
If Bridges wants to prove he can do more than just shoot and play defense, there are a few areas where he can start. He's a smart, active cutter who shot 68% at the rim last season per Hoop Math, but most of his shots around the rim did come off cuts. That hints at two main areas where Bridges can improve. Firstly, as a three-point shooter, most of Bridges' threes were of the standstill variety rather than being a movement shooter. If he can become the type of movement shooter who's flying off screens and represents a constant threat to the defense, he will really expand his path to an NBA role. At Baylor, only 21 of his three-point attempts came off movement or off screens, but on the encouraging side, he did make 13 of those looks. Being able to pump fake and put the ball on the floor against defenders who close out too strong would be helpful too. He's an active offensive rebounder, but most of his drives in college only came with a straight line to the hoop, and he doesn't create much of his own offense yet. Still, even if Bridges' ceiling isn't high, there's definitely a pathway to minutes for a 3-and-D wing with a high floor. His coach at Baylor, Scott Drew, summed it up pretty well.
The reason he can play right away is because he's solid defensively and he can guard 1 through 5. He's a real low turnover guy, so he's not going to be out there and make mistakes. He doesn't take bad shots, and he shoots a high percentage.
Thanks for watching today's Suns season preview. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube page, listen to the PHNX Suns podcast every day at 3 p.m. Check out my written season previews over at gophnx.com, and check back tomorrow right here for our next video season preview on Ryan Dunn.